Sing that old adage when it says, "Oh, glory, glory, hallelujah, since I laid my burden down. Oh, glory, glory, hallelujah, since I laid my burden down. I feel better, so much better, since I laid my burden down. I feel better, so much better, since I laid my burden down. Oh, yes, yes, yes. We thank you and praise you, O most holy Sanini Nanini Tata Nzambi. Even that spirit that moves upon the water. We thank you for all that you've done. We thank you for the sun, the moon, all that give us light to navigate by day and night. We thank you for the stars, which give us a look toward where we're going. We can navigate. We can see where we're going. And that there is a chandelier in the heavens, the beauty. Even the beauty of holiness that you've given us through the law. Yes, the law, to lay down my burdens, to lay down the heaviness of my spirit, and that I sit up there and I conform even to your law, your law, statutes, and judgments, even your commandments. Yes, you give us these things that man might be able to govern himself, that I might be able to govern me, because you said a man that can control his spirit is better than he that controls a city. It's not just in the corporate thing. We see the corporate, but oh, most holy Sanini Nanini, you give us these things that we might control ourselves, that we might have our own self-discipline. And I thank you for these things. Yes, for our own ways are the ways of death, but your way is life. And at the entrance of your word, giveth life. And we thank you. Yes. Oh, yes, yes. All praises to the Most High, even the Most High, that spirit that moves upon the water. Hallelujah. Yes, we're in the book of Enoch, chapter 72. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook platforms. Oh, a wonderful and a beautiful day, especially when you know that God has delivered you from so many things, even the devils that try to subdue you and bring you under, bind you in many forms and ways. But I thank the Most High that even he has shown deliverance to many of us. Now, the book of Enoch, chapter 72, deals with the luminaries. Yes, luminaries. Luminaries, the sun, the moon, the stars. And this is what he saw, even the Enoch, as he was taken in the spirit. He see the spiritual part. What we see is the finite part. He's seeing the infinite part of these luminaries. Now, in verse 1, the book of the courses of the luminaries of heaven, the relations of each according to their classes, their dominion, and their seasons according to their names and places of origin, according to their months, which Uriel, the holy angel, who was with me, who is their guide, showed me. And he showed me all their laws exactly as they are, and how it is with regards to all the years of the world unto the eternity, until the new creation is accomplished, which dureth until eternity. Come on here. Hey, what he's saying now. He's showing him what he says. He showed him the laws, that these things, the sun, the moon, and the stars, are exactly as they are. God has a law. The sun must obey the law of the Most High, even the Father of spirits. The moon must obey the law of the Most High, even the Father of spirits. The stars the same, and you, man, you, woman, you cannot get through eternity without the law as you know it today. For they say the laws are past, but everything in the universe works by law. But yet what law have you in the New Testament? There is no law except for that which Moses gave, and that God gave to Moses, that was ignored back before the flood. Yes, ignored. But the fact is, now we ignore them again through what the heathen and our ancestors have caused even the wrath to come upon us, and then our heads been struck by a big battering ram called judgment, called chastisement. Let's get back to that old landmark. You talk about that old landmark. This is old as it's going to get. Where they were singing and shouting, let us go back to that law, to that thing that would cause the lame to walk and the blind to see. Yes, this law. If a man order his steps aright, even his enemies, those of you in Congo, when you pray and tells God to get rid of that leader of yours or straighten him out or something, and then he begins to tell his armies to fight, hey, it's going to be something else. You're going to have your land. Because, hey, sometimes things come through blood and war. Some things you have to just stand up and do. And hope to, and you can humans can be rebuilt. And that's nothing but the enemy doing all those things. Now with that, we're going to keep going. Verse 3. And this is the first law of the luminaries. The luminary, the sun. The law of the sun. Here it is right here. It says the luminary of the sun has its rising in the eastern portals of heaven and is setting in the western portals of heaven. I saw 6 portals, this means openings, in which the sun rises, and 6 portals in which the sun sets. And the moon rises and sets in these portals. And the leaders, he's talking about, these are portals of time increments, yes. The leaders of the stars and those whom they lead, 6 in the east and 6 in the west, and all following each other in perfect order. Moreover, many windows to the right and left of these portals. He's seeing different holes. Some will call them wormholes. You wonder where they get this stuff from. Wormholes and all kind of things. But the fact is, he's saying he saw how the sun rises and how the sun sets. And how, and in the spirit, what he saw, how does it do it? Whereas we see it in the east rising, and we see it in the rest going down. Now, he said in verse 6, moreover, many windows to the right and left of these portals. And the first there goes forth a great luminary named the sun. His circumference is like the circumference of heaven. Well, he's round, and he is quite filled with illuminary and heating fire. In other words, this is the law. This God is powerful. A nuclear bomb cannot even generate that much heat. Okay? So that lets you know, man, you better fear. The chariot on which he ascends, he's talking about the means by which he ascends. The wind drives, and the sun goes down from heaven and returns through the north in order to reach the east. Look, he says the sun goes down from heaven, returns through the north in order to reach the east. As you ever notice, as the sun goes to the north, in other words, it's just small increments, just very small. You find out that the sun, as the weather gets colder, the sun is what? It's mostly a southerly, southeasterly. Or should I say it's mostly in the south. But it inches its way toward the north as the summer draws nigh. Okay? It says now, and is so guided by that he comes to the appropriate that portal and shines in the face of the heaven. This is the way he rises in the first month in the great portal, which is the fourth, those 6 portals in cast. In other words, that would be the month of April. You find that the sun is more toward the north in April. And then that's at its apex. And then it's getting ready to go it inches toward the south. In the wintertime, you find it's more southerly, going from the east and west. You might not understand, but the basic concept is there. Now, and in the fourth portal from which the sun rises in the first month are 12 window openings from which proceed a flame from which they are open in their season. Now, he's talking about the seasons now. Let's go forth. And when the sun rises in the heaven, he comes forth through that fourth portal 30 mornings. That's 1 month in succession. And sets accurately in the fourth portal in the west of the heaven. In other words, he's doing what he's commanded to do. And during this period, the day becomes daily longer and the night shorter as it turns more summer. From the spring to the summer, the days become longer. He's just getting out of winter. The days become longer and the nights become shorter as the summer progresses. Now, to the 30th morning, and on that day, the day is longer than the night by a ninth part. Okay, and the day amounts exactly to 10 parts. In other words, this is dividing time. Time is nothing but this sun is giving a man a measure that he might number his days. Now, and the night to the 8th part. And the sun rises from that fourth portal and sets in the fourth and returns to the fifth portal of the east 30 mornings and rises from it and set in the fifth portal. Now he's talking about these are times. If you go by the shadow of the sun, you can about tell it, but he's seeing this as he is drawn in the spirit, as he's shown, as the angel explains. Now then the day becomes longer by 2 parts, amounts to the 11 parts, the night, that's 11 hours, or should I say 11 hours, something like that, and becomes shorter and amounts to 7 parts. And it returns to the east and enters into the 6th portal and rises and set in the 6th portal, 1 and 30 mornings on the account of its sign. Now, what is he saying? In this thing here, it seems like he's denoting that the earth is flat because it has to go around the earth. It has to go around. He's saying it's going to the west. It hit toward west northerly, and then by the time it ends up on the other end, it's rising. It starts to rise, and now it is in the east. Now, I don't advocate either one. I say wait and see, because it can't be proven. Either one is not proven, should I say, straight out. There is no proof. The earth is flat or that the earth is round. There's no proof because many have proven that even going to the moon there has to be some type of concrete evidence that the earth is one round sphere. There's no concrete evidence that the earth is one flat surface. Not really flat, but it would be more of a concave or concave. The convex, or it's like a hill, like half circle or something like that would denote flat. But anyway, regardless of that, we know we got some type of curvature. Now, it returns to the east and enter into the 6th portal and sets in the 7th portal, and 30 mornings on account of its sign. Now, on that day, the day becomes longer at that night, and the day becomes double the night, and the day becomes 12 parts, 12 hours. And the night is shortened and becomes 6 parts, 6 hours. Now, that only amounts to what? 18 hours. And the sun amounts up to make the day shorter and the night longer, and the sun returns to the east and enters the 6th portal and rises from it and sets 30 mornings. Now, when the 30 mornings are accomplished, the day decreases by exactly 1 part. In other words, this is how you get your leap years and all those good notions, and becomes 11 parts, and the night 7 parts. And this is how they were counting the different increments that the sun, it's not hours, but it's how they were counting the different increments of time. Yes, by the sun. And the sun goes forth from the sixth portal in the west and goes to the east and rises in the fifth portal for 30 mornings and sets in the west again in the fifth western portal. Verse 21. On that day, the day decreases by 2 parts, and the amounts to 10 parts, and the night to 8 parts. And we understand that as the summer progresses, yes, the days start decreasing and the nights start increasing. Yes, I can understand that theoretically, yes. And 22, and the sun goes forth from that fifth portal and sets in the fifth portal of the west and rises in the fourth portal for 1 day and 30 mornings, account of its sign, and sets in the west. On that day, the day is equalized with the night, and the night becomes equal length, and the night amounts to 9 parts, and the day 9 parts, and the sun rises from that, and the portal sets in the west. As always, it works by a law. This is the law of the sun. And returns to the east and rises 30 mornings in the third portal and sets in the west in the third portal. And on that day, the night becomes longer than the day, and the night becomes longer than the night. And the day shorter than day, until the 30th morning. The night amounts exactly to 10 parts. In other words, it's a longer night. And the day to 8 parts, shorter day. We're getting toward the fall. And the sun rises from that third portal and sets in the third portal in the west and returns to the east, and for 30 mornings rises in the second portal and in the east, and in like manner sets in the second portal in the west of heaven. Now on that day, the day amounts to 11 parts and the day to 7 parts. Now see, he's saying the nights is very long. You know, when you get up in the winter and you find out you get up at 7 o'clock in the morning and it's still dark. That's what he's talking about. And on that day, the night amounts to 11 parts and the day to 7 parts. And the sun rises on that day that the second portal sets in the west and in the second portal and returns to the east. And those get ready to rise again. Into the first portal for 1 and 30 mornings. 31 mornings. This is 31 days. Where's 31 days at? 31 days are, you got 31 days in October. I think you got 30 days in November, and 31 days in December and January, and so forth and so on. 28 days in February, so they say. But anyway, 29. On that day, the night becomes longer and the amounts to the double of the day, and the night amounts exactly to 12 parts, and to the day 6. The night is very long. And the sun has therewith traversed the division of his orbit and turns again on those divisions of his orbit and enters that portal 30 mornings and sets also in the west opposite to it. The law of the sun. And on that night has the night decreased in length by 9th part, and the night has become 11 parts and the day 7 parts. Oh, very long. This is winter. He's talking about winter. And the sun has returned and entered into the second portal in the east and returns on those his divisions of his orbit for 30 mornings and risings and settings. Now on that day, the night decreases in the length and the night amounts to 10 parts and the day to 8. And on that day, the sun rises from that portal and sets in the west and returns to the east and rises in the third portal for 1 day and 30 mornings, 31 days again, and sets in the west of heaven. And on that day and night decreases and the amount to 9 parts and the day to 9 parts, and the night is equal. What is he talking about? He's talking about the beginning of the spring, around in the spring, when the day becomes equal with the night. You will see this as we progress through our seasons. And the year is exactly as to the days, 364 days, except for a leap year, 365. Here we go. Oh, my God is good. Now, in 36, and the length of day and of the night and the shortness of the day and of the night arise through the course of the sun. They are separated. So it comes to that it is a course becomes daily longer and its course nightly shorter. This is we're trying to arrive to the summer again. Yes, summertime. Yes. And this is the law and the course of the sun and his return as often as he returns 60 times and rises the great luminary, which is named the sun forever and ever. Now, it may not be that this is English language. It's not named the sun. It's named so many things in so many languages. And that which thus rises is the great luminary, and is so named according to its appearance, according as the Most High, even Tata and Zambi, commanded. As he rises, so he sets and decreases not and rests not, but runs day and night, and his light is sevenfold brighter than that of the moon. But as regard size, they are both equal. So he's saying the sun and the moon is both equal. Yes. But anyway, with that, we're going to say peace.